actually performed my first Firebird on my birthday in Cairo, Egypt. It was very special because if you are aspiring to, take on this career, right? It's not necessarily I'm aspiring to be a certain thing, but you're taking this on. And when you do, certain things go with that. So when you see a role like Firebird and you're still in the core doing the maidens or the monsters, and then maybe getting upgraded to a kind of soloist part, you kind of have your eyes set on that role because it's just it's magical. At that time, probably all of our eyes were on Stephanie Dabney, the original Firebird. When something is created on you, it's like it's yours. And the choreography was inspired by the person who was in front of the choreographer. There was also Judy Tyrus, of course, and Charmaine Hunter. And what I saw them do is make the role their own. For me, as I said, like the bird, this Firebird is, I mean, Stephanie was long. And so there's, even though it's fast, there's still like like getting to the end of everything. The way that helped me with that is I did everything really slow. Ba da da da. I feel it. Ba. I'm posing. I feel it. Fingertips, tone it. Like I felt each position, and then I did it faster and faster and faster. But I didn't let myself diminish in the steps because it was fast. I could go on and on. But Bethania, you want to say something?
Before I did my Firebird, I had a trip to Brazil, and in my city, there are a huge in Rio. There is a huge bird community. Let's say it's like one of the cities that has the biggest bird population because we have, you know, mountains and the sea and everything. Really watch them up close, and I looked at the way they changed their head, how they looked. To me, it was like every bird it's looking around, it's not just putting your head down. So if you insert this, the movement of the animal itself, of the being itself, is gonna help you through the technique. But like Christina, I was a lyrical dancer. I had I still do. I have, long legs. Adagio was my favorite. Petit Allegro was my trouble. So when I had to go into this, I was like, what? This is the hardest variation I ever done in my life. The movement of the animal itself, of the being itself, is gonna help you through the technique. Do you understand? So just go flat and really cross that foot in front of you and really try to feel the ground as much as you can throughout the rehearsals and step, and project your eyes. You also dance with your eyes, and your eyes are not Daphne eyes, not Yinet eyes. It's the birds, and it's like wah pa pa. And if you get into the character, your movements become more what it was, what's supposed to be. Actually, Daphne is always our reference, and if you see her pictures, a lot of times she has this look like that. She's like the big eyes.
Quasi, really quasi. The quasis are really important in this. They're all the quasi positions as you go through this piece. Really think about your body directions. It's yes, yes.
There.
Your costume, there's a thing you have in your costume
Yeah.
here and here. It's like you have these feathers, so you're right in front of it.
Yeah. It's
And you
not.
want to really feel that, like fingertips, like, I had to really learn how to be fast but still complete everything. Be careful, you take your pulse with you, like give a gentle hand on the backward. Don't go so really, I would say just make sure, you really are in, like when your leg goes that little pique développé, like really get to the end of that développé. Even the leg that you're going to pique on has to be like a dart energy out of that toe. Try. Da da e ba di ba e. Yeah, and then just just making sure you're not falling to it. You have to keep bringing it back to you. That way you have more control. Even though you are stepping forward, just make sure you bring that leg backed underneath you. So you're in control. Sha-da-dee-da-dee-da-da. There you go. Bah! Good.
It was one of the first lead roles I ever learned at Dance Theatre of Harlem. I was in the back. You're not casted. I'm not apprentice. I'm in the ensemble. I've been asked to learn everything. Just learn. So through the years, I was picking up all this information. And then when the time came where I was casted, all that information was already being enforced, rolling with these ballerinas and under the direction of Arthur Mitchell. So everything that I would be picking up, it was just ingrained. It goes into your work. My first Firebird was, it happened in Europe in 2004. Mind you, on a rake stage, there's no way that you can forget being shot out of that wing on your own. When you're running out, you have to, as Arthur Mitchell would say, you have to know where you're going, how you're going to get there, and how you're going to stop. So I suggest you running down, run low, and pop up. So your left foot is going to go up into that susu, into that PK fourth. So just walking it, marking it, knowing where you're going to go on the floor. Yes, down, you know where you are, get the left foot and go. Yes, any PK has to be an established PK, but it depends on the role you're doing and the intention you do with it. So, and it's just you know, in that moment. Uh-huh, yes. Put your hands on your hips and do that. Up, 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 up. Yes. It takes something, it makes you focus in on the clarity of the legs. Now we quiet the arms on top and make them exact, and piece it all together. Always up on the diagonal, higher, or low beam, high beam, because it's a beautiful profile. That's a part of the choreography.
Are you looking up?
It's up for discussion. Most of the time, you do look up, down, side. You can explore that. You're seeing what mood it is. A lot of times I'd be one that's down, but my eyes would go,
I first started learning Firebird just by watching. Stephanie Dabney, who was the original, was still dancing when I was in the company. And Firebird was one of those ballets that was usually one of the first things you did when you got into the company. You were either a maiden or a monster. And so I think I just started absorbing it by watching it from the wing. And then after that, I remember having rehearsals with Charmaine Hunter as well. It's strange. I don't remember my first Firebird, but I do remember that I did it after Kellye.
I learned Firebird from Judy Tyrus and Charmaine Hunter. And I first performed Firebird. I was actually trying to think about exactly when it was. I know it was in 1991, but I don't remember when. It might, oh, you know what? I do remember when. It just came to me. I performed it for the first time at Kennedy Center in 1991. You know, when you're first learning this, you're learning what you're learning. But if you think about this in the whole arc of the story, you know, you're at a certain place at the beginning of the ballet, and you're at a different place at, you know, context-wise at the end. And so, you know, at the very beginning, you know, you've come out and, you know, you're the Firebird. This is your realm. You know, you're not coming out in that fierce, like, you know, attack mode. we're not there yet. You know, nothing has happened. Nobody has come and threatened to take you. There's been no monsters. So for me, that was always what I came to rely on after a while, because, you know, I had to start at a certain place and be able to get to another place.
In general, there were moments in the solo where you would incorporate these quick, you know, bird movements with your head, and they weren't really choreographed, but it was sort of your own kind of flavor. So, okay, so what I'm saying is that the movement of the head is a counterpoint to the rhythm of the step. So the step is bum, 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 but the head is bum, 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 whatever. It's your own, it's your own thing. You have to kind of, you know, like when you see a little bird, a little sparrow, and how quick their head movements are. The flutter of the hands usually comes on the descent of the arm. It's hard to flutter. Yeah,
it's hard to flutter up.
It's hard to flutter up. You got to flutter down.
It's like this whole part of your arm is making the flutter happen.
Yeah, the thing about the flutter, it feels more like a release than a resistance. So it's like, for me, it has like a sound.
Right, you mean
take it.
Yeah.
Remember, before going on stage, I would have to warm up my hands to get them to do that. You know, it's like to really like get your hands and your fingers and your wrists and the palms of your hands really loose before you go out there.
When you're coming forward, is it just one coming up, or is it multiple?
Okay, so after you do bum, the first step that you do to come down, the arms come down and then they come up once and then back. But again, with the different Firebirds, there was room for interpretation. That was what I did. I think the important thing is to make it really convincing for yourself.
So it has to be natural for you within the confines of what the character is, of course, but, you know, don't just flap just because we said flap. You've got to make it natural and doable for yourself.
To make your dream come true, it is a big challenge. It's a huge message a message of coming back from the ashes, a message that, you know, after all, we're gonna rise again. Because I even felt as in a company that was created during the civil rights movement, this has such a message of, yes, we're gonna rise again. Yeah. Every time I dance Firebird, especially in the end, when we had to do those piques around, that's what came to me.
Looking at it in modern day right now and having all that to draw from, the little things you can pick and choose and take into yourself and present and how you do it, and representing the organization and the artist yourself. The technique speaks for itself and it works as a vehicle. The display of that is the strength and then your vulnerability. And how do you tie in between all that?